All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Afternoon Boost. And today our guest is Bruce Wilson. Now, if
What's
you
up,
don't
How's it
man?
know,
going, guys? What's up?
How are you?
Doing
Good
all
to
uh,
see
right.
you.
Doing all right.
now if you don't
Man,
know
you
who
sure
Bruce
look
is,
busy.
you interrupted my intro. Now, if you don't know who Bruce is, you got to go check him out on YouTube, Bruce_Wilson, and he just recently passed 1 million subscribers. And
Yep.
Bruce, you have all sorts of content, but it seems like it's mainly heavy duty. You do a little bit automotive. You do some product installations, repairs, pulling out old abandoned vehicles out of fields. Will it
Yep.
start? All sorts of crazy stuff.
What's
Yeah.
what's some of your what's your favorite content to make?
Probably the will it start stuff, just finding old trucks and random old equipment sitting out in the middle of the woods. It's been sitting for like 15, 20 years or even longer sometimes and bringing them back to life. But it's not the easiest content to make, not because starting the stuff up is hard, but finding this stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
most of the stuff's been sitting this long. People have it hidden. They don't ever talk about it, things like that. I got one of my employees pulling in here on a four-wheeler right now. Our shop is 60,000 square feet. It's massive. So
Wow.
Wow,
we
that's
use
awesome.
scooters and all kinds of stuff to get around. But yeah, I mean, that's like the most fun content for sure. It does really good on views. That's kind of like my claim to fame is the Will It Start series.
Well,
So,
they're certainly interesting too to watch. It's
yeah.
some of my favorite content too. I love it. It's awesome.
Definitely. I watched. I forgot which one it was. I'm gonna scroll back and see, but it was quite the feat to get it out of there. It was an old Mack truck,
Yeah,
I
we just
think.
got so up here in Tennessee, I was in Florida. And we moved our operation here to Tennessee. A lot of creators are actually moving to Tennessee. It's pretty wild. But we moved up here to Tennessee, had an opportunity to join a new business venture called FCR Salvage. It's a spinoff from my business partner's company, Fitzgerald Collision and Repair. He has the nation's largest heavy duty truck repair facility for wrecked trucks, not for like diesel engine work, but just, totaled wreck salvage kind of stuff. And then he's been wanting to start a salvage company for all these wrecked and totaled trucks that come out of his business. So that's kind of what we moved up here for and started this business on top of doing content, full time.
Yeah,
So we
that's
got
cool.
our tow truck here, and we've been using this thing to pull stuff out of the woods here in the last 4 or 5 months. So it's like a really handy tool.
That's
Wow.
yeah. I saw you using that. You said you were kind of still new at it and still learning all the tricks on how to use everything on the big
Yeah,
tow truck.
it's definitely an adjustment. I mean, this thing will tear itself. Oh, this guy turned his four wheeler off. Sorry,
Oh,
but
No, you're
it's
good.
it's definitely an adjustment because the how big. Let me turn my. Can I turn my screen around here?
you
No.
can't. You just kind of have to
Oh,
show your
okay.
phone.
So yeah, this thing is. I mean, it's got a big stinger back here under lift, and then we've got a big crane that's going to be going on top of it. A big boom. That's a 25-ton lift boom. But when you go into like the heavy duty stuff and tow trucks, these things will do more damage sometimes than you want to, just because of how strong and how powerful the lifts are. So that's where you have to learn on
Yeah.
how not to tear
I
stuff up even more than it already is.
I have a question for you. Have you ever got into one and you couldn't get it started?
Yeah, we were like neck deep in this cab over one day, international. It's probably been like, I don't know when that was, at least 10 months ago, something like that. It had a big Cam Cummins in it, and we barred it over like a quarter turn. I'm like, oh, this thing's going to break loose. Well, it ended up being like locked up on one cylinder. We pulled all the injectors out. We were pouring whatever we could find that had lubricity in it down the injector holes, and it just had one hard spot in it. And we spent like 4 hours there. I'm like, I'm giving up. I'm not doing this because the guy didn't want to sell it. He's like, you can tear it apart, do whatever you want, but I'm not selling it. I'm like,
No,
well,
jeez.
it was all torn apart when we left. I'm like, I tried. I'm sorry. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. He's like, I like the yard ornament. I'm like, whatever.
No.
But I mean,
That's interesting.
sometimes making these Will It Start videos, I mean, we spend a whole day doing this stuff. And I mean, they're not cheap to make YouTube videos in the automotive industry. It's
No.
extremely expensive.
Yeah, I
Well,
bet.
and you put out quite a bit. It's not like you do one video a month or anything. You're putting out a ton of content.
Yeah, we're at least 12 to 15 videos a month on average.
Wow, that's crazy.
Um, and it's all like mechanically inclined. I mean, it's all hands-on labor intensive videos for the most part.
Well, that's pretty awesome. What projects you got currently you're working on now?
Well, I'm sure you guys, if you've watched some of the videos, you've heard about Scania. Have you seen
Yeah.
that part?
Oh
So
yeah.
this has become a big part of our future with content and YouTube and social media. About a year and a half ago now, I bought a Scania truck, and what that is, I've actually got one here. I'm working on right now. They're a Swedish manufactured and made cab over truck. So we've got this one folded open and opened up right now. What's really unique about these is they were never sold here in the USA. They were only sold in Europe, everywhere but North America. And they have a V8 diesel. So to this day, they still make a brand new 16-liter common rail V8. This one is a mechanical injection 15-liter V8,
Oh, who
and
produces the
they're
engine?
just Scania does. So they make
Themselves.
the
Yeah, they're
engine,
the
transmission,
manufacturer.
rear axle. They make everything on the whole truck. It's pretty wild. And
Why do they not sell them into the US?
so they tried entering the U.S. market back in the late 80s, early 90s. And the problem was they came here at a time where the red-blooded American trucker wanted a Caterpillar and 18-speed and wanted his own axles and all this stuff. Well, Scania, since day one, has only produced their own engine, transmission, and everything. So they came to market with a six-cylinder engine that was about 50 horsepower less than everything else that was available. And, back then, everybody wanted a cat. They wanted whatever they wanted,
Yeah.
Well, they said, well, if you're going to buy this truck, you can only have our engine. It didn't work out. No one wanted it.
Yeah.
But nowadays,
They
in
didn't even
today's,
know. Yeah.
yeah, in today's market, if you go buy a Peterbilt, you can get a Cummins or a Packard, and that is it. Like there are
Yeah.
no gliders, none of that. So the market's changed drastically. And I've been
Well,
doing
and
everything I can do.
you've
Go
even
ahead.
said that those Scanias are just unreal power and the way they
It's
work and
insane. We've got a brand new one. I've become an agent of Scania here in the USA, and we've got a brand new truck that I actually went to Sweden, got to build on the assembly line and design it myself.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they're shipping it here we're going to have it here for 1 year, potentially up to 3 years, depending on if we can get the extension approved by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. It's a mouthful.
hmm, well, that's pretty
But that
cool.
truck is 770 wheel horsepower
Huh.
and 2,950 foot-pounds of torque
Wow.
Wow.
from the factory.
Yeah.
So it's almost 200 horsepower more than anything available here in the USA right now from the
Wow,
factory.
that's insane. That's crazy.
What
Yeah.
actually,
Go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, what actually got you like looking into Scanias and like started down that route?
Well, it's like the everlasting problem as a creator is finding ways to be unique and do something someone else hasn't already done. So I'm like scrolling on Craigslist one night. I never go to Craigslist but like once a month because no one uses it, but every now and then someone will use it and there'll be a deal.
Yeah.
So I'm on Craigslist searching for farm
I
equipment
forgot
because I
all about
buy,
Craigslist.
yeah, I buy and sell farm equipment here and there. And then I was like, search semi truck and it said European show truck and it didn't have a phone number, right? Well, usually on Craigslist, if there's never a phone number, the email never works because people don't check their emails. So it was only email. So I sent an email. My phone number said, "Call me. I want to buy this truck." And I got an email back like the next day. I was like, "No way, no way," because it never happens. No, even when Craigslist was being used all the time. And it was just that's how I kind of got into them was the urge to find content that was unique, content no one else is making, and it's not the easiest thing. I mean, it's really hard nowadays because
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
doing the same thing. Even like the will it start videos, people have. I'm not going to say I was the first person to start up something out in the weeds, but definitely the first to brand it as a will it start. And now, like, there's hundreds of creators out there making videos titled "Will It Start," calling them "Will It Starts" and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of like hogged the market. Not really the market, but the theme of it has been played out now that it's hard to get people excited about it because they see them all over the place.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty cool what you're doing. What do you got as far as some motivation for these guys that are, maybe not necessarily content creators, but they're just out there working on something in their garage and they're having a hard time getting the motivation to do it. What keeps you
Getting
motivated?
excited. I mean, just being real. I mean, everyone has these struggles of like, you've got this project, you've sunk tons of money into it, or you need to, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, I believe me, there's days where I'm like, all right, well, it's like this truck right here, my Scania I'm working on. I have to have it in Chattanooga next week for this big show. And it's just like I have so much going on during the day with the salvage company, and that's taking up a lot of time. So trying to create content or just work on this is just like, I want to just go home and go to sleep.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, I'm like, I've got to get this done. And then once it's done, it feels good. It's like
yeah.
I don't know if it's a rush of endorphin. I don't know what the word lingo would be for it, but just push through and just, if you really
So,
want it, you got to go get it at the end of the day too.
so that pot of
That's
gold at the
what's,
end of the rainbow is really, really awesome to be able to grab a hold of that sometimes when you get it done.
yeah, I mean, that's what separates, I guess, some of us from others is just like you have to see it through no matter what it takes. And sometimes it's not what you want to do, but
Yeah.
it has to be done. You just got to do it.
Discipline.
Well, yeah, discipline.
Discipline. That's a good word. I'm not very disciplined when it comes to eating, but as far as getting work done, I try to be.
Yeah.
My wife
Well,
cooks too much good food every night.
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
But well, that's some good words of wisdom, and I think that's pretty awesome. Where's some places that our followers and listeners can follow you? I mean, obviously YouTube's huge. You've got a huge following there. I
Yeah.
know you do a lot on social media, but what are
We have
your handles there?
YouTube, pretty much any social media platform. You just type my name in, it'll be the first one to come up. It's like the easiest way to go about it. But YouTube, Instagram, we've got a couple Facebook pages. One of them's got over 1 million on Facebook.
Nice.
TikTok, I mean, TikTok, we post on there. We don't get too serious on TikTok because we've had our TikTok deleted like 3 times. So
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's hard.
it can be the most innocent thing, and they'll flag it for unsafe acts or something stupid. So
Yeah.
we just kind of like repost content on TikTok. But yeah, I mean, we got all kinds of We have that's the problem is like don't start too many projects at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
Like
good
I'm
piece
like
of advice.
there should be a way, you can ban yourself from going to a casino, right? You can sign a paper and then ban yourself for like a week or a month or something. There needs to be a way to like log into Marketplace and ban yourself from going on, ban yourself from Marketplace for like a
uh,
week or something.
I
Because like
agree.
I'll have one project.
I
Yeah.
actually disciplined myself over last month. The whole month of October, I didn't open up Facebook Marketplace, and I feel lost. I didn't even work on any. I didn't even get any projects done because I was just lost. I was like, I feel like I work on a project as I'm looking at Marketplace, and I just aimlessly walked around the garage.
At least you didn't
Sometimes
buy
it's
anything
good.
though.
And I didn't buy anything either. So I don't know.
Sometimes it's good for brainstorming. It just get your brain going to scroll
That's what
through.
I'm thinking. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
but
right, so I've got our Scania, which is it's a project, but it still runs and drives. I feel like if you go turn a project into something that doesn't run and drive anymore, it takes longer to fix or finish. So
yeah, that's
I've got
true.
a really big one right now that I've thought in my head that I had to have, and I'm looking at it right now. I'm like, oh, what have I done with myself? Because I bought a Freightliner rollback tow truck. Right, there's no cab on it right now. The cab, I don't know where the cab's sitting at, but if you look close in here, you can see that they had a fire.
Oh yeah.
So I got this thing really cheap, and it's a 2013 or 2014 with a Reman engine and Allison trans. So it's Cummins engine with a Reman Allison in it, and it didn't hurt the engine or trans, but it burnt every
All the
wiring
wires.
harness near the
Oh,
battery box. Well, conveniently, all the wiring harnesses that are right there are like the mecca of wiring harnesses. So like every wiring harness in this whole truck I've had to order. And the guy I got it from had another tow truck, and he robbed the injectors and then turbo off of this thing to keep his other truck going. So I've got to get a turbo and injectors for this, and we're waiting on the wiring harness and stuff like that to go in it. But
well, maybe we can help you out with the injectors and turbo for sure.
yeah,
We've got
and
some
it's
new cool stuff.
is it an ISB worth the rear gear train, or I think it's ISB?
Um, yeah, I mean they're still ISB, but they're yeah, they're just a rear gear version of it. They
Yeah,
should still have small bolt pistons in it.
QSB or something? I don't know what the difference is.
QSB would be a wide bowl in there, so
Okay.
we might need to find an engine serial number. Is it burned off?
I've got a ECM serial number. The valve cover, yeah, I got a little hot. It may end up with a billet valve cover on a tow
Yeah,
truck. Because I bet a billet valve cover is probably cheaper than buying a new plastic one from Cummins.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like this is the biggest project right now that when I look at it, I'm like, oh, what have I done? I can scratch my head. But nonetheless, if once parts start showing up, I'll have to get it done because it's got to get
Oh yeah.
done.
Yeah, for sure.
that's
Well,
awesome.
awesome, man. We appreciate it. We know you're a busy guy, and we appreciate you coming on here and taking some time out of your day to show us what you're working on and give some people a little bit of boost and get them out there in the garage working on their stuff.
Yeah, basically just keep plugging away, and it always feels good whenever you started a project and it gets done.
Heck yeah.
It always feels good.
Definitely, definitely.
Well, like I said, we appreciate it, and we'll get in touch and see if we can get you some parts, see what you need.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Awesome.
buddy.
Thanks,
Thanks, Bruce.
Bruce.
See
We'll
ya.
see you.
See you guys next time.